Before there was an MCU, there was another MCU.
Mud to the damn DEA. You understand that?
Did you know that there's not a single movie in the Madea universe that's received over a 5.7 on IMDb?
Is this nigga serious?
And it's crazy to think about because even though these movies are kind of shitty and infamous for being popcorn flicks, there's like 13 of these films. So at least one of them's gotta be good, right?
I figured it's out. I know what's happening right when it's happening.
Okay, let's move on.
So the only way for me to figure out if these movies are really that shitty, I have to watch
every movie in the Madea cinematic universe.
Smoking on top fives. Stop playing, I'm that guy.
Helen and Charles have been married for 18 years, and like most American marriages, their relationship is going at a rapid speed down the gutter. I'm like 5 minutes into this movie, and so far Helen is just complaining about how lifeless her marriage is due to the fact that Charles has changed over the years, and I'm just wondering, when am I gonna hear Charles's perspective?
I am still your wife.
That's cute.
Never mind. This guy's kind of a dick.
Tell me what I need to do and I will do it.
Get the hell out of my car.
That's not a hug, I'm just grabbing the door for you.
If it's not clear to you by now who's supposed to be the antagonist of this movie, then you probably don't watch a lot of movies. Tyler Perry doesn't even try to hide the fact that Charles might be a decent person in the way that he writes this character.
I'm Charles McCarter. I'm gonna die Charles McCarter. Look, I don't even know why you here. I ain't giving you a dime.
This guy's a real jerk.
Before I continue to talk about this movie, I gotta mention that this movie actually kind of feels unique when compared to other Madea movies. Diary of a Mad Black Woman sometimes feels like a Broadway play from the film score to the scene transitions. And that's something I didn't really remember about these movies. Well, I guess because it only happens in this movie. And I feel like it should get some extra credit points for that. So Helen's making an attempt to try and repair this terrible relationship. So she pulls up to Charles's job with a food full of baskets.
What?
Basket full of food. And when she pulls up, she sees this lady, Brenda.
Who is this bitch?
Oh, and Brenda's got a baby. Obviously, Helen is mad, jealous. So she goes home and finds out that all her shit's been taken out the house and put in a moving truck.
Somebody named Charles McCarter or something like that rented this truck, told me to load it up and wait, so that's what I'm doing.
No, wait.
Why did Charles ask you to wait here? And how long are you supposed to be waiting? Would have been some great follow-up questions. Helen goes inside and finds out that along with moving all of her stuff, Charles has went out and bought all of these dresses. Helen's like,
oh my god, so thoughtful. Love the dresses.
And I'm like, god damn, Helen is optimistic. So when Charles pulls up after a long, hard day of work, he comes home and he tells Helen that he's kicking her out of the house. Duh. He also shows up with Brenda. She left the baby at home though. Helen, trying to be a strong, independent woman, stands up for herself and says she's not leaving.
Who's my temper?
No!
But then, Charles just drags her ass out of the house.
Get up! Brother, get up!
So now, homeless Helen gets picked up by that dude who's waiting outside for, I guess, 4 hours. But Helen has nowhere to go, so Helen hits up her grandmother, Madea! Once Madea is introduced into this movie, the tone turns into a much more comedic type of film.
I ain't scared no popo. Call the popo, ho. Call the popo, ho.
The pace of this movie is utterly ridiculous. Within 30 minutes, there's a breakup, a robbery, gunfire, and an entire court scene. Remember that guy from earlier? It's not me. It's not me, guys. It's not me. This guy, he pops up at the family cookout because he's related to Tyler Perry's character. And I think I'm gonna need a family tree to keep up with who's related to who.
Anybody know who's sleeping with who?
Of course, he's the love interest. Even though the first act of this film is quick as fuck, once the movie needs to establish this relationship between these two, it slows down. So for me to be into a love story, I really gotta like both characters involved.
Just another bit of black woman, huh?
Excuse me?
And I really don't like either of these people.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
I don't care. Get out of the car. I'll drive
All right, hey, you know what? Now I see why you going through what you going through.
Oh, you go to hell.
Have a nice life.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
Orlando's creepy as fuck and just shows up unannounced very often. Meanwhile, Helen's in distraught, and obviously, you know, her marriage is ending, so it makes sense. But she's actually just a rude person.
And what do you do? Because I don't hang with drug dealers.
There is a B plot in this movie about Charles being a crooked lawyer and stuff, but like, I already seen The Wire. I don't really gotta talk about this. There's even a C plot in this movie about drug addiction and ruined family dynamics. However, this movie is really bloated and doesn't really need that storyline, so just not gonna talk about it. Helen's in a good place with Orlando, but then Charles is back and gets shot in court during the crooked lawyer plot. And I don't give a fuck, because it's just another little obstacle stopping the relationship between Orlando and Helen and this movie ending. At the end of the movie, Helen goes to get her man's.
I'm going to find my man.
And Diary of a Mad Black Woman ends with Helen getting married to a handsome stalker. I would give this movie a 6 out of 10 just because it was the first one, and I'll be nice.
City of Atlanta versus Maple Simmons.
Madea?
The judge should know that Medea's name is Maple Simmons because they interacted in the last movie.
Girl, I know that ain't who I think it is.
I know you didn't say Mabel Simmons. Madea?
So that's stupid. Yet another story about domestic abuse and another one-dimensional evil husband.
And if you think you're talking about leaving me, well, I love you to death.
The character who isn't one-dimensional in this movie is Victoria. Victoria is the mother of Lisa and Vanessa, and overall, the star of the film.
You're gonna rot in hell. I vacation there.
Victoria also basically knows about the stuff that this piece of shit's doing.
You will not hit her again. And I will tell her that you're getting counseling, which may not be such a bad idea.
She's a bad parent, basically. I like how in this basketball scene, Tyler Perry directs himself to make the game-winning shot. Another thing that isn't great in this movie is that it's kind of like the same copy and paste love story as the last movie. Not the exact same, but two characters run into each other, they keep running into each other until they confess their love. However, luckily, for me, these characters are a lot more likable than the ones in the last movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, this shit is still cringy as fuck.
Check this out. Roses are red. Violets are blue. If you go out with me, you will like me too.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck was that? I'm sorry.
But the movie doesn't feel like too much of a drag and it keeps you mostly entertained. I just realized that in this review, I kept constantly referring to this dude as the evil husband, and they're not even married.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Evil fiance. My bad.
I can't do this anymore.
I just said I was sorry.
6.5 out of 10. It has Maya Angelou in it. How could you not like that? Wait a minute. Guys, I think this movie is actually pretty good. And that surprised me, because I haven't seen this movie in a minute, and I'm not a fan of the Leroy Brown character.
I'm in the kitchen. What? I'm not trying to say it to mama. I went crazy. The people just everywhere. I just go away. Mr. Brown, please.
What do I do? Do I clap?
So knowing that this movie introduces this character into the MCU had me fooled thinking that this movie was going to be a little mid. But unlike the previous two movies, which were mostly love stories, Meet the Browns is about a mother who's struggling and loves her children.
We gonna be all right. You hear me? I'm sorry. We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right.
This movie is centered around Brenda, who's played by Angela Bassett. I love me some Angela Bassett. And it also helps that this movie has a really good cast, and that cast has some pretty good chemistry. Sofia Vergara is in this movie, being herself. And Rick Fox is in this movie, also somewhat being himself.
I'm divorced. 6 years, 3 kids, and a whole lot of drama.
My drama trumps your drama.
This is why men don't like sharing things. Even the deadbeat dad in this story is entertaining and adds value to the film. At first, he doesn't really give a fuck about Michael. He doesn't even really care about Michael when he sees him in the hospital potentially bleeding out.
What's up with all these emergency phone calls?
Michael Jr., he was shot last night trying to hustle money for me.
But I ain't paying for no funeral.
Hey, fuck you, man!
But the moment Michael gets signed to the league, Dad's like, hey, you remember me?
With you showing up at this time, some folks would consider that gold digging.
Oh, yeah. But hey, this is all about my son, right? This is all about my boy. All right, this is not about me.
My favorite scene in this movie is when Michael's talking to that basketball scout because the dialogue sounds like some shit straight out of a 2K cutscene.
All right, man. I'm believing in you, bro. Make it happen.
And I'm gonna be honest, I just dig the tone of this movie. There's only one major plot in this movie, and the plot continuously develops until the end of the movie without any unnecessary random moments that drain the tension. But yeah, great acting, great story. 8 out of 10.
But wait! There's more!
Madea makes a cameo. She's in a high-speed chase. She gets arrested.
You clean your head, you ain't gonna take me down, man. Put your hands on the car, man.
And now she's about to go to jail.
Talking about that little lady.
If you look at the title of this movie, you may come to the conclusion that this movie is actually about Madea being in jail, right? Or actually going to jail, right? Well, nah. Instead, this movie spends a lot of time on the concept of Madea not going to jail.
Yes. I still don't get it.
And yo, did Tyler Perry really need to recast Sofia Vergara again? And it's now confusing cinematic universe. This being the 4th Tyler Perry movie, you'd think he might have changed the formula up a little bit. But no, we still got another side B plot with a bunch of characters who will somewhat intersect with the rest of the story. So Josh is about to get married to Linda, but recently his ex Candy comes back into the picture and is not in good shape.
What are you doing, crack? What the fuck?
Essentially, Josh feels bad for Candy because he feels guilty because of some traumatic stuff that happened in their history. And even though that situation's pretty messed up, like really sad and really fucked up, Josh is being a dick to his future wife. So you get a call from your ex in the middle of the night when your fiance is sleeping on your chest. What do you do in this situation?
Okay, I'm coming right now. I'm coming right now.
And like the happy conclusion for this movie is supposed to be Josh and Candy getting back together. And I don't know if that was the best outcome for this film. And in general, the side characters in this movie have absolutely zero substance. They don't add shit to this movie. This light-skinned dude, for some reason, keeps advising Josh to not answer any of the woman's questions.
Take my advice, just nod and say yes.
Now, am I right or am I right?
That is not it. Don't talk, just agree.
And like that's 70% of his contribution to the script. And Linda's character is so bland that at parts I actually forgot her and Josh were supposed to be getting married. But that could partially be my fault for not paying attention to their dialogue because this movie is kinda ass. 5 out of 10, I hope I never have to see this shit again.
I gotta get you out of here. I gotta take you home. You understand me?
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna get you out of here.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Anyway, this is one of the baddest sisters around.
I feel like this movie does a way better job at balancing the stories than the previous movies. Madea goes to jail. Whenever different characters interact, it actually makes sense within the story and makes sense for the characters. The best part about I Can Do Bad All By Myself is the acting done from Taraji. And that's where the compliments for this movie ends. Bruh, I ain't even mention it yet because it happens in a lot of these movies, but there's like a 3 to 5 minute concert happening to match the current mood of the film. That might be nice if I'm in a movie theater surrounded by people, but at home when your boy's relaxing, I'm slowly losing interest. Of course, there's another evil bad man in this movie because it's a Tyler Perry film. What the fuck else did you expect? I don't even think it's possible to make a Tyler Perry film without one of these types of characters.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
This time, the toxic male figure is this dude who's cheating on his wife with Taraji's character. And he's also trying to push up on a 16-year-old.
All right, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Then there's this random ass guy in this movie who's associated with the church. He's supposed to be the Prince Charming of this movie who saves the woman from her dying relationship.
I can fix that.
But instead, he's just a boring ass protagonist good guy. There's nothing that brings these two individuals together organically. It's kind of like things are just placed in order to make them fit. This dude's only here because he needs a place to live, and he's kind of shown interest in the kids.
You made it very clear to them that you don't care.
Though I was praising the acting from Taraji's character, the direction of her character is quite literally absent, non-existent. Majority of the development for her character comes in the form of those 5-minute gospel concerts. I was gonna give it a 5 out of 10, but I think it's just a little bit better than Madea Goes to Jail. 5.5 out of 10. I've been looking forward to watching this movie since before I even thought of making this video.
I can't take it no more, man.
For me, this is the definitive Madea movie. The Avengers of the Madea movies, the Fast Five, if you will. Like in one scene, you're gonna have a Madea and Joe back and forth banter.
I'm on your school teacher by day, dentist by night looking ass, boy. Boy, don't let me get on your Pee Wee Herman looking ass.
And the shit Madea does in this movie actually matters.
He just gonna look, oh, he tapping me.
What brings you by, Madea?
Medea's supposed to get all the family together for a big ass dinner. And the recruitment scenes are pretty funny, especially when Madea went to go visit Kimberly.
Do you understand what the hell I am saying to you? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I literally don't know what else I could expect from a Madea movie. These are popcorn flicks with some heart behind them, and if they make you laugh in the process, then I'm a happy camper. I was also genuinely happy when Byron broke up with Lauren London's character.
How about you get a job?
If I gotta get a JAB, you ain't getting N-U-N.
I can't eat! I'm broke, nigga! I'm broke!
Just being critical here though, because this is a stupid review, but if he was about to tell her to leave, why he stand up and then go near the door? Doesn't it just look like he wanted her to shove him here? Leroy Brown's in this movie, but even he can't ruin this movie for me, because I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. So you got Lil Romeo in this movie doing some Nicolas Cage levels of overacting.
But you know what my dad did? What your dad did, Jake? My dad went up there and told him I was a changed man. You know what else he said? He said everybody deserves a second chance.
Calm down, man.
He said everybody.
Jake.
To be fair to Lil Romeo though, this movie, I'm sure the screenplay and the plot are dog shit. There's a Ponzi scheme at this company. Eugene Levy, you might remember him from the American Pie movies. His character gets scapegoated as the person responsible for the Ponzi scheme. So he's looking at some jail time. On top of that, the mob's after him because he's a rat, even though he wasn't aware of what was happening. So Brian decides that the best place to hide Eugene Levy's family is at Medea's house.
You must be some kind of a dumbass.
Medea's been in charge of many people throughout the years, and usually the connections made sense, but this situation is so completely out of left field, and I could only suspend my disbelief for so long. Did I mention the comedy sucks?
So, what's it gonna be, Mr. I'm a tough guy from the hood? Mr. You going down, homie? Because I'll tell you, I'm gonna do the damn thing.
Seeing this movie made me appreciate every Madea movie that came out before this one, because at least those movies had some interesting moments and jokes that, you know, carried the story, well, at least long enough to keep me invested. But this movie has one boring ass legal issue that's not entertaining. Did I mention the comedy sucks? 3 out of 10. I'm not gonna waste my time watching a Madea Christmas movie. I seen Larry the Cable Guy was in this movie, and I can't.
I don't wanna go to sleep at night. I might not wake up.
All you need to know about the tone of this movie comes within the first 7 minutes.
You are now staring at Upsilon Theta's finest.
This is some of the cringiest. Oh, hey, what's up, Bella? This is some of the cringiest dialogue I've ever heard in my life.
Y'all probably never seen a dude before in real life. This right here, this is what a dude looks like.
Another cringe moment during this scene is when one of Tiffany's friends says that her dad, Brian, played by Tyler Perry, is hot.
Rain, Leah, Jay.
Hi. Hi, Mr. Simmons. Hi. So hot.
Isn't it kind of weird that Tyler Perry wrote this line about himself for a underage character to say in a movie?
Oh! I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
Brian has some stuff to do, so he needs someone to babysit Tiffany. So obviously he calls Madea. Majority of this film centers around two conflicts: keeping Tiffany safe and making sure that she doesn't go to a frat party. And the other is just like this neighbors-esque rivalry, but in this version, instead of frat boys versus parents, it's frat boys versus grannies. 2 out of 10. Please don't watch this. Something that was somewhat covered in the previous piece of shit movie that I'm forcing myself to watch is that Tiffany's parents are divorced, and there also might have been some cheating. Now, it seems like Tiffany's mom is pretty successful. In the last movie, we heard that she had already had another husband, she had a house. Reason why I'm mentioning it is because wasn't this bitch like a crackhead or something? And is that a recast I see? Tiffany in general has received a lot of screen time in both these movies. And to be honest, I wish they picked a more entertaining character.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you.
Why not?
Oh, I don't know. Because last time I checked, you're 17.
Buddy, you know that was a year ago, right?
He's an idiot.
Frat guy isn't the only dumbass in this movie, though, because Tiffany's mom is irrational as shit. Not only does she give her daughter a car when she clearly cannot drive, but she's also okay letting her 18-year-old daughter, fresh out of high school, go to a lake house where children were just recently murdered.
Okay, all right. But you have to promise to be responsible.
What a stupid fucking quote.
Damn, maybe she's still on crack. At first it seemed like people were getting killed, but they weren't because Brian and Tito Ortiz pulled a prank on everybody. And eventually, Madea shows up to save the day, rinse and repeat. Except, never mind, some people actually were dying. I don't know.
Are you okay?
No.
Damn, I wonder why Tyler Perry didn't just go all the way and make this into a trilogy. I'd give Madea Boo 2 a 1 out of 10 because they didn't even try. This movie is called Madea's Family Funeral. Thing is, we've never heard of any of these people before. Tyler Perry has added yet another version of himself to the Madea cinematic universe. I've been trying to wonder what happened to these movies for like the past 4 movies. Not trying to say like the earlier movies were these like critically acclaimed works of art, but they felt less...
Tell me!
...annoying. When Madea started hanging out with this old people crew, these movies became unbearable. This movie has a lot of drama and a lot of terrible acting. And basically the theme of this movie is you can't trust anybody, not even your family. And there is a lot of drama set up and there's a lot of outcomes that can come from all these toxic affairs that's going on. Unfortunately, the story is extremely predictable and the writing is very bad. 3 out of 10, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. This guy Davey is friends with Tim, and I had to go back and rewind the movie because I thought that they were dating. But it's kind of like the movie wants to trick you into thinking that they're dating. But actually, Davey isn't dating Tim, he's dating Tim's mom.
Yes, baby, it's true.
When this secret's revealed in the movie, I'm like, damn, this mom's kind of a piece of shit. She knows her son is gay and may potentially have feelings for this dude. And even if he didn't, That's still his best friend, so what the fuck? But I guess I'm the only one who felt like this, because everyone's telling Tim that he should kind of like get over it.
Just growing up, raising children, ain't nobody tell them how to do nothing. Sometimes people just doing the best they can, you understand? And you ain't have no idea they was together at all.
Yeah, Tim, it's your fault. The conflict for this movie feels so minuscule in comparison to the other films. Most of it is manufactured through unhuman-like dialogue. If I'm being fair, I think this movie deserves a 2 out of 10.
Mediocre?
So out of like 13 movies, I'd probably only rewatch like 4 of them. Still though, I feel like these movies do deserve some praise for giving a lot of roles to black actors over the years, and also for somewhat staying relevant despite having some recycled ass humor. If you like this video and want me to do other stupid reviews of random series and franchises, then leave me a comment and a like so I know that you care.
Let's just try another approach.
Let's
okay?
try another approach.
All right. Do you sleep well at night?
Do you sleep well at night?
Don't be shy. Subscribe to that guy.